Is civil war unavoidable at this point? Hey folks, so I'm sitting out here grilling some dinner and I got to thinking about a lot of the news that's come out over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. There have been several decisions by the Supreme Court that have been released. The first is Roe v. Wade has been overturned, but if you look at the left is going nuts about it, by the way, but if you look at the decision on that, the left would have you believe that abortion has been completely banned. It's no longer legal. That's not what's happened. What's happened is the Supreme Court basically kicked it down from a federal level back to the state level, where states would decide for themselves whether or not they're going to restrict or ban abortion or whether they're going to allow it. And for anybody that follows the Constitution and believes in the way the government should have been set up or what was originally set up and should still be operated, that's how it should be. It should be up to the individual states to decide whether or not they're going to allow abortion. And if you live in a state that doesn't allow it, you have the freedom to move to a state that does. That's the way the Constitution and our government was originally set up to be managed, how it was originally set up to operate. It was never intended for the government to regulate anything and everything. And the Supreme Court decision has not banned abortion like the left would have you believe, like the mainstream media would have you believe. They haven't made it illegal. They've just kicked it down to the state level because it had no business being at a federal level. And then you've got the Second Amendment case that was recently decided on as well, where states like New York, Washington, D.C., etc. are what they call may issue states. And what that means is when you apply for a concealed carry permit, you have to give a reason as to why you feel you need the right to carry a handgun. And even if that's a valid reason, they can still refuse to let you have the permit. The Supreme Court ruled that is unconstitutional. But they ruled in a way where it sets the precedent where state laws can't violate historical precedent, which is a major win for the 2A community. But California has come out stating that they're going, because of the Supreme Court's ruling on the Second Amendment in regards to the may issue states, California has come out saying, well, we're going to make even more stringent restrictions on owning and carrying firearms. Other states have done the same thing. New York has said, well, since you're going to block us from deciding who can and cannot have a permit, we're going to increase restrictions on where you can carry. What this has shown is that the division in this country is as pronounced as ever, if not more pronounced than ever before. Cases like these, and I blame it solely on politicians and mainstream media that take one side over the other. Mainstream media should be and used to be fair and unbiased news source. They wouldn't take sides. They would just report news and they would report facts. They no longer do that. Being that the majority of newspapers, radio, and television news sources are all owned by 6 major corporations. Hang on one second, folks. Okay, sorry about that. Seeing as how the vast majority of all TV, news, radio, and even newspapers are owned by 6 major corporations, and all of those corporations share the same message, the same agenda. They all seem to back the left when it comes to political representation. Even Fox News, which is which a lot of people view as a conservative outlet, is not wholly conservative. That they produce and spread a lot of what true conservatives would consider a left-leaning message. It really just depends on the reports or the articles that they're putting out. But mainstream media is far from being unbiased anymore. They are heavily biased towards the left. And because of them, everything they push is the talking points of the left's agenda. So you no longer have fair, unbiased news reporting. You have political propaganda. And it's spread to social media, so that no matter where you go, be it social media, be it newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, you're bombarded with the political message from a particular political party. Now, you can find some exceptions, but they're few and far between. And the ones that do promote a conservative viewpoint are being actively silenced and attacked on a regular basis. And there's a lot of people out there that may not accept that. They may not believe that. They'll think that's just conspiracy theory, but it's the truth. It's actively happening. You merely have to open your eyes and look at things objectively to see that that's what's happening. And because the media is so biased, and because the majority of the political speech on TV is from the left, they speak from the left, you're getting bombarded with this. I've witnessed that the divide in this country is more pronounced than ever. Every time a new decision comes out, like Roe v. Wade or the Second Amendment, or any number of these, it simply polarizes. The way the media covers it polarizes left versus right. There doesn't seem to be any true middle ground in America anymore. You're either left or right, conservative or liberal, black or white. We're being divided at every level, and that division is more pronounced than ever. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to cook dinner and not let it burn on the grill while I'm doing this. Anyway, we're being divided at every single level possible. And the way everything's being represented and being portrayed in the media, in newspapers, etc., and even on social media, there seems to be no middle ground anymore. There doesn't seem to be anybody sitting middle of the road in their views or taking a stance. Everybody's choosing sides, and for the most part, a lot of Americans seem to be taking extreme views on left and right. So what we're seeing is the division growing, the sides getting more and more polarized. So you have to wonder, is civil war unavoidable at this point? Have we reached a point where it can no longer be avoided? There was a time that no matter how much right and left disagreed, they could still talk. They could still be somewhat civil. There's always been mudslinging. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Mudslinging in politics goes back all the way to the founding fathers. It's always been there. All you got to do is open a history book. I know the left is dead set against understanding and knowing history, but if you study the history, if you look at the history of politics in this country and even other countries, mudslinging has always been there. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this pure hate that seems to exist in this country. This revulsion, this situation where you despise the other party or anyone that doesn't agree with you. This is the worst it's ever been, I think, in our country. Aside from perhaps two other times. During the Revolution, when we were so divided between those who believed that we were still subjects of the king, subjects of the crown, and those who believed that we were free and independent. And then again, when we had the Civil War, when there was the division over slavery, and the second, and probably actually more important reason for the Civil War was the subject of states' rights. Slavery was not the only reason the Civil War was fought. It was one of the main reasons, but it was not the only reason. This other big issue with the Civil War that a lot of people seem to sweep under the rug was states' rights and the violation of states' rights. And this goes back to Roe v. Wade, because the Supreme Court, by kicking it back down to the states, they, in effect, reasserted states' rights on that particular issue. So we saw this kind of division during the Revolution. You had people fighting against each other, neighbors fighting against each other, neighbors and family turning each other in. And again, you saw it during the Civil War. Brother against brother, father against son, families ripped apart by the political disagreement. I have to ask, have we reached another one of those inflection points where the division is so strong in this country that there's going to be a clash over it. Now, obviously, there's already been some clashes in the past couple of years. Ooh, it's getting dark, isn't it? Yeah, we got some storms moving in. There's already been some clashes over the past couple of years between the conservatives and the left, you know, the BLM and Antifa riots, and you've got the Proud Boys and all these other little bitty groups and just random conservatives in general. But have we reached another point where there's no longer going to be any possibility of discussing these issues in a civil way, of finding some sort of solution, some sort of middle ground? Now, I, for one, have noticed that for myself, there's certain issues even I've become more polarized on over the past year or two, because I've seen it attacked so much and so strongly that I've just reinforced my position that much more. And there's a few things, a few issues that I used to try to be the type to mediate, to see the other person's point of view, try to find the middle ground. But there's a few issues that over the past couple of years I've come to the point where I don't want to compromise anymore. I believe that we've compromised way too much already. And I refuse to compromise anymore, because the left has shown over and over again that no matter how much you try to compromise, no matter how much you give up to try to meet them halfway, it's never enough. And you don't see them giving ground, but they expect you to give ground. And I think some of my point of view can be seen just in that one statement. That's my view right now, is that's how it's become, in the nation as a whole and in me personally as well. So have we reached another point where there's no more, I hate to use the word compromise because I don't want to compromise on certain things anymore. I'm starting to view the word compromise as surrender, as equivalent to surrender. To me, that's what compromise is. It's akin to surrender, and I no longer want to do that on a lot of issues. And if I'm feeling that way, and I used to be the type that would try to mediate, would try to meet people halfway, what does that say about the rest of the country? So, have we reached a point as a country where there is no more middle ground, where there is no more compromise, for a lack of a better word, where we can't, despite our differences, work together to find some kind of solution that works for both of us? I don't think we can. I'm going to leave that up for you. I'm going to leave that there right now. It's getting dark, it's thundering, it's lightning. I want to get inside, eat dinner. But that's just my thoughts for this afternoon while I was grilling dinner and thinking about what I've been witnessing over the last week or two. So with that, stay safe, folks. Stay vigilant. Keep prepping. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Stay busy. Get things done. Enjoy your life, though. And until next time, folks, take care. I'll catch you later.